Welcome to Papamutes, everybody. Today, my guest is Mark.W.Travis. Mark is a two-timer, not in a bad way. He's a director, an actor, and a writer, and he's been on here before. His second time, and I'm happy to have him on. Mark, welcome back to Papamutes.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you again, Papamutes.
And I forgot to mention he's also the developer, founder of TiFi, T-I-F-I, Travis International Film Institute, which we talked about in our first podcast. We covered your background history, how you got into film, directing, Hollywood, all that stuff. And now we're going to concentrate on a specific topic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's directing the character, not the actor. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So what's that about?
Well, it's a huge topic, which we could spend more than whatever time we're going to spend today talking about it. But just talking about film directing and making films, one of the most important jobs a filmmaker has, the director has, is obviously working with the actors. Not only selecting the actors, but working with the actors to get the performances that are going to help tell the story in the most effective and efficient and compelling way. And the skill of working with directors is something that many directors are very skilled at, and many are not. Many almost ignore it to the point of saying that they think if they cast it well, everything will be okay. But my whole focus is on how can we work with the actors? How can we work with these other artists to help them, literally help them give a better performance? And I've been doing that for 30 or 40 years. I've been exploring that, experimenting with that around the world with a lot of actors and all that. And many years ago, I sort of stumbled upon or came upon or developed a process of working with the actors that was absolutely unique. In fact, in a class that I was teaching in Amsterdam, I said to a director who I was working with, I actually said to him, why don't you stop trying to direct the actors? Now, this was a whole workshop on working with actors and directing actors. I said, stop trying to direct the actors into doing what you want them to do. What would happen if you only directed the character? And he had a weird look on his face, which you can imagine, and probably I did too, and the actors did too. And he said to me, that sounds interesting. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea how to do that. Can you show me? And I said, yes, I would show him. And I did. What I did with the actress that we were working with this scene, I turned to her, and instead of addressing her by her name, her real name, I addressed her as the character and just started talking to her. Now this, I'm going to stop for a second here. A lot of directors say, oh, I do that. I talk to the character. Yeah, but a lot of them say, I'll talk to the character. Okay, who are you? When were you born? You get a lot of history, all that. That's not really engaging with the character. What I'm talking about is engaging with the character in a way that you actually put the character a little bit on edge, or a lot eventually, and the character, in defense of your interrogation, will emerge. The character will emerge, and the character actually emerges with no effort from the actor, none. In fact, the more the character emerges, the more the actor pulls back. So if I'm talking to the character and asking the character questions, what's the problem? Why are you having a problem with your husband? He seems like a nice guy. Now the character, this is really important, not the actress. The character has to defend herself. If for a moment, Papamutes, I ask the actress, why do you think your character has to defend herself? She'll give me an answer, but that's the actress's answer. That's her interpretation. That may or may not be the character's truth. I'm going for the character's truth. So I talk directly to the character and I put the character on edge. And now the character has to defend themselves. And the more the character has to defend themselves or explain themselves to me, the more the character emerges. And this gets because you've seen the film that I made on this. This can get
I've seen it,
very,
yes.
very, very intense. And I'm trying to keep it simple right now for those who are listening who go, what is he talking about? To try to explain how this works.
We'll put a
So
link on
I'll step back
that
for a
film.
moment and explain it. It's really kind of interesting.
Okay.
First of all, in storytelling and character development and all that, we talk about obstacles. We talk about things that get in the ways of the character. Obstacles are very important to not only every character in every story, but they're important to each of us. They're important to you, Papamutes. They're important to me. You know, the things that just get in our way that we have to deal with, that we have to work around and all of that. That's very, very important. Now, think about an actor. Now we have an actor whose name is George. Okay, that's the actor. I'm just making this up. And
Right.
he's playing a character named Alex. Now, think about it this way. George, as an actor, his goal is to portray Alex, to become Alex. That's fine. But you know what's in the way of him being able to do that well? What's in the way is George himself. If I say to George, the actor, I want you to play Alex this way, now George's mind is working hard to try to create an Alex that is doing it, behaving the way I'm asking for. Now, is that what Alex is thinking about? Absolutely not. Alex, the character, is not an actor. He's not thinking about acting. He's not thinking about how to portray a thing. He's not thinking about what is my next line. And then, in other words, all the actors' best techniques and best thinking can get in the way of a good performance. That's what I discovered. And if I can get the actor to stop thinking, it sounds strange, and stop trying to make the character work, and we can just release the character that's inside the actor because the character is there, then we'll get an authentic character. We won't get, quote, a performance. We won't get acting. We don't want acting on the screen. Ironically, you don't want acting on the screen because you can tell, Papamutes, I can tell we're watching and go, oh, that's, you know, we usually call it bad acting because we can really, we see. And there's some actors who are so highly skilled, very highly skilled, that they can give a performance that's dazzling. But is it an authentic character or is it just a highly skilled performance? I would rather go for the authentic character because my feeling is what I want to see on the scene is an actor in a way disappear and a character come through that is so authentic that I'm astounded and I forget the actor. I forget about watching whoever it is, Dustin Hoffman or Brad Pitt or whoever. Forget about watching them. No.
Is the interrogation process and directing the character the same? Is that, I mean, it works together.
Yes, it's the same.
So they piggyback on each other.
Yeah, it's, well, the idea of directing the character is the first step. And then what do you say to the character? If, for instance, I can't say to the character, okay, when this scene starts, I want you to be really angry. If the character was truly the character at that moment, he would say, I have no idea what you're talking about. What scene? I don't know what you're talking about. The character doesn't know that there's a scene. The character doesn't know that there's a script. The character doesn't know that there are lines. So I cannot talk to the character the way I would talk to an actor and ask for a performance. The role, the task, the goal of the interrogation process is to stimulate the character so powerfully into a state of mind, a state of belief, state of thinking, and an attitude that is highly appropriate for the beginning of the scene, and then just send them into the scene.
So if you have an actor and his role is a serial killer, not a famous one like Ted Bundy, but just, you know, you're a serial killer, what's the process there? I mean, obviously this guy likes to kill, but he's not bouncing off, you know, there's not two people in the scene, I guess is my point. But he's got to act like a possessed killer.
I can tell you, I have to take a little step to the side first to explain one part of this process.
Sure.
If you watch me, if you watch my film, and by the way, those who want to see the film, it's at the website that Papamutes mentioned at TiFi, TiFi.us. If you look under films, you'll see it. It's called Rehearsal. You can watch it. So if I am interrogating the character, this is a big question, but I can give you a very simple answer. The question is, who am I in that character's life? Who am I? That character who really is not in a movie. The actor playing the character is in a movie, but that character is just in his life. Say Ted Bundy, he's just in his life. He doesn't have a director telling him what to do at all. So who am I? Who am I that's interrogating him, asking him all these questions? Basically, to simplify it, I am the voices in his head. We all have these voices in our head that we listen to or try not to listen to. I call these voices the committee. It is the committee because it's a group of voices. Now, getting back to your Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is a great example, Papamutes, so thank you for bringing that up. Ted Bundy, there's a part of him as a killer, as a serial killer, that believes that what he is doing is good. Now, what I have to do as the interrogator of the act, through the actor to this character, as I'm interrogating Ted Bundy, I have to give voice to that voice. This is because if I can become that voice in his head, say, Ted, when you kill people, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, isn't there the rush, the feeling? I mean, do you realize what wonderful things you're doing for humanity? I have to be that voice. So, and I also have to be the opposing voice, the nemesis, who will argue against that. Because what Ted Bundy has going on in his head is a battle between how he perceives it, good and evil. He hears about the evil, but what he's doing, he feels is good, or he has to do it. So that's how the character is built. The character is built not from the outside, not through behavior, but from the inside in terms of what is going on inside the character's head at any moment of their life. And I have to give voice to that. That's why my job is really difficult in the interrogation, because I have to understand this character way better than that actor does, and sometimes even better than the character does himself.
Has it ever been rejected? I know it sounds, I mean, maybe not a young actor, but has anyone said, what, I'm not grasping this technique. What's going on here, Mark? I mean, just curious. I'm sure you've done this a million times, but has anyone ever not grasped it?
Well, yes, I'll get to one situation in a moment, but most of the time, no, not at all. I have to tell you a little side note about this, which is during the casting process, when I'm casting a film or a play, that's most often, depending on the actors coming in, of course, the first time an actor will be exposed to this way of working. He'll come in, he'll read a scene that I've asked him to read, and rather than me talking to the actor after the scene has been read and saying that was good, but I'd like to see it a different way, which is the normal way to do it, I don't do that. He comes in and reads, and right after the reading, I start interrogating the character. And what you will see is fascinating to watch. What you'll see on the actor's faces is sort of flicker. It's a little flicker like, what? Because he realizes he's being talked to as the character. And usually within a split second, bam, he's right back into the character. Actually, he's right back where he wants to be. He, the actor, wants to be. He would rather be the character right now than the actor. The actor is going to get criticized. The actor is going to be asked to do something different. But the character is who he wants to be. He'll be more comfortable being interrogated as the character. So I will interrogate him as the character. So that's the first time they'll get exposed to it. And because it's a casting process and he's really applying for a job, it's not a good time for him as an actor to say, oh, excuse me, I don't know what we're doing. What do we? You do that, and pretty soon you're out the door and you're gone. He won't do that. But most actors don't. I would say a majority of the actors that I've done this with have no idea what I'm doing at the beginning. It's this very simple thing. I can be talking to, let's get back to George and Alex again. Let's get George and Ted Bundy. George is playing Ted Bundy.
Poor George.
No, it's great, a great opportunity. And I say to George, you're playing Ted Bundy. We're having a discussion as director and actor. And I said, fine. Can I talk to Ted? That's all I say. Can I talk to Ted? And he'll look at me and say, yeah, sure. Okay, why not? Why not? And that's the introduction. And I'll say,
now, what if it's not, what if he's not playing Ted Bundy though? How about if he's just, the storyline is this guy's a serial killer. He's not playing Ted Bundy. He's just his own unique psycho.
So it's a different serial killer?
Yeah, but not a famous one. Just the story is, you know.
Okay, let's go back to Alex. This is a different serial killer that has the name of Alex. That's fine. Then I'll say, let me talk to Alex. I'm just saying, can I talk to the character that you're playing? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And the actor giving me that permission, then it starts immediately. And I'll start out very, very lightly. It won't be the tough interrogation like you see in the film immediately. It takes a while to get there. But it'll be more of an interview at the beginning. And I'll just start talking to Alex, the serial killer. And I say, Alex, how old are you? Where do you live? What kind of work do you do? Do you have a girlfriend, Alex? And the more he keeps talking as Alex, the more Alex will start to emerge. And then it'll slowly morph into a more serious interrogation where I'm really trying to push him to defend himself. That's the important thing, to defend himself. You asked a question about people not wanting to do it.
I'm just curious if somebody didn't grasp it and was like, I'm not feeling it.
Well, if they say I'm not feeling it, I won't cast them.
Oh, so you're okay. So I forgot about the casting.
No, seriously, no, I'm not feeling it. I said, okay, you can go home now because.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
No, think about it. That line, that's the actor getting in the way of the character. And that's the actor giving some weak, lame excuse for not doing his work. I'm not feeling it. Oh, well, we have to wait for you to feel it. I'm not waiting for you to feel it.
Well, that goes back to the first episode where you have a difficult actor and you said that usually if it's a difficult actor, something's bothering him.
Yeah.
And you got to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I know. I'm just, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Let's get back to the I'm not feeling it. If it's a situation, I have cast the actor and we're working, we've shot some of the film already or whatever. And he says on a certain day, I'm not feeling it. I said, really? And yes, I have to try to discern what the problem is, what the fear is, what the complication is, what issue that actor is dealing with is going to totally mess up the whole day. But my recourse and I can tell you a story about this too, my recourse of getting past that is to really say to him, okay, we'll just focus on the character. Let's just focus on Alex, George. Let me talk to Alex. Now, one thing I can do, and I've done this many times, is take the issues that George is dealing with and make them part of Alex that day. In other words, I let the feelings he's going through, and let's say George has had a big argument with his girlfriend. I find
in real life.
In real life. That's George, the actor, had a real big argument with his girl, and he's really upset about that. And he's feeling dismissed or betrayed or scared. Now I'm thinking, will any of these emotions, fear, dismissal, whatever, or rage or anger that he's feeling, will any of that work today in the scenes we're doing today, or especially the next scene we're doing? And many times it will. Many times it will. Many times. So I can talk to Alex about something. In other words, to shift that fear and anger that George is actually feeling and actually make use of it. But that's something, or I have to work in such a way to totally separate it from Alex, the character, through the interrogation. The interrogation works very well that way in terms of either incorporating something or separating.
Okay. Do you have or do you know of any other directors that use this technique?
Well, I know a lot of directors who do, because those are directors who have studied with me.
Right. So if somebody sees this technique,
Yeah.
and they can use it. It's not like a photograph where, hey, you can't take that photo and it's not
Oh,
copyrighted. You know what I mean?
well,
It's very hard to.
first of all, I want more directors to use it.
Okay.
In fact, more than me wanting it, actors want directors to use it. Actors that I know of who have run into a director that studied with me and suddenly they're using it, they're so thrilled, because for the actor, every actor's sort of fear or concern or worry is doing something wrong, making a mistake, not doing a good enough job, not living up to their own expectations or the expectations of the director, the writer, the producer, whatever. There's always that fear. This process, ironically, takes that fear away, because as the character, they cannot make a mistake. They could lie as the character, they can do also, but can they make a mistake? No. And the reason they can't make a mistake is nobody's asking them to deliver anything specifically. I'm not asking them to show more anger. Oh, no, that's not, then the director says, no, that's not what I meant. Let me give you another idea. Then the actor feels diminished, like, oh, I'm not living up to his expectations. So actors who have experienced this way of working, the ones I've worked with and ones the directors that I've taught have worked with, are thrilled. One actress, I can't tell you her name, and I can't tell you the director's name. He's a very well-known director. But and he studied with me, and this process saved her a career in one day. I'll tell you what happened. He was the director, his name is John, I can tell you that much. Was directing an episode of a very successful TV series, and she was a regular on the series. There were a lot of regulars. She was one of them. And for some reason, over that whole season, she had become terribly difficult to work with and problematic and complaining all the time. And he was warned. He had never met her or worked with her. He was warned about this and said, just do the best you can. Just, try to keep her online. Now, they can't get rid of her. She's a regular and all that of the series. And he went in there and started working with her on the first day and immediately saw the problem. She was difficult. She said she didn't want to do things. She didn't like the script. He went, whoa, we got a problem here. And he stopped and he said to her, let's go for a walk. And she said, what? I said, come on, let's go for a walk. Just stop everything, go for a walk. So they went for a walk. They left the sound stage and everything, went outside and went for a walk. And he started talking to her. And she started explaining everything, all the problems. He says, okay, I get it. He says, but can I talk to your character? She said, what? Can I talk to your character? Now, that was the introduction. She had never heard. And she said, oh, yeah, sure. And he transferred all that anger and rage that she had into what the character was dealing with in the scenes that day. Now, the anger, the rage, the disappointment, the sense of betrayal, all of that. He says it worked perfect. He talked, and by the time they walked back on the set, she was the character. They walked into the scene and she gave a brilliant performance. And she kept giving a brilliant performance the entire day and the rest of that series, to the point, the first I heard of this was not from John. The first I heard about this was from her. Because she asked John during that, she says, where did you learn how to do that? And so he told her. And she called me. She called me and said, I got to talk to you. And it was true, because I talked to John and the producers. And after that, she was fine. Now, she still had her issues and her problems, but she had a way of sort of releasing them or venting them through the character. And suddenly she was fine. Saved her career, so at least saved that job. So that's how it can help a lot, because all those problems that she was having were hurting her work and everything else. But if you put them into the character the way he did, without saying, you can't say to the actor, oh, use all of that in the character. It won't work. It won't work because then the actor's brain is thinking, okay, how do I use this in the character? Well, then you're not the character anymore. You can't be the character and be thinking about acting as the character at the same time. That's schizophrenia. That won't work. You have to just be the actor or be the character. And this process allows the actor to be the character totally.
Now, what about, I know there's assistant directors, etc., but let's say you got multiple actors throughout the movie. I'm just going by the film I watched of you. You're going back and forth between these two. How about if you have 5 or 6 actors that really are in this scene?
Yeah.
I mean, you go crazy. How do you bounce from this guy to that girl? Back and forth like a pinball.
Yeah, the most I've done in that type of interrogation you saw in the film, where I'm just working with 2 actors, the most I've done where I've worked with several actors simultaneously was 6. And it was a family. So, it's a mother and a father and 4 children. There's a family. Well, you work with all of them as a group, which I could show you how to do. But you say, how do you do that? Well, it takes practice. It's like anything. It's like, in a foreign language or a musical instrument. You have to practice it, and you have to practice it all the time, a lot, to get really skilled at it. I once was challenged, which was fun. I did it to interrogate 15 actors. They say, you got 15 actors here. Can you interrogate them all? And I said, absolutely. And I did. And I interrogated them all. But while I was interrogating them, I turned them into characters this is called blind interrogation, where nobody knows who the characters are to begin with. And I will create a character. And then I would link them together. By the end of it, all these 15 people were 15 people in one small village, one small town, who all knew each other and had relationships with each other, all done through interrogation. Now that takes a lot of practice to do that.
Sure.
And I'm not suggesting that everybody has to go to that extreme, but it can be done. But you're right, when there's a lot of actors on the set and you're doing a scene, let's say you have a scene with 4 or 5 or 6 people in it, you have to keep all 6 characters in your mind. And because, assuming, if you're working the way I'm working, you have interrogated all of them before in the past. Now you're doing this one scene, and I can turn to any one of those actors and just mention the character's name to that actor. Just say that, Sally, so suddenly she knows she's being addressed as the character. And I can say one line to her, one line of interrogation, and which can set her off into the scene perfectly. Now that's high-speed interrogation. It can work. And I can do that for all 6 characters and then send them in.
Get in there.
Yeah, it is. It is very much. It is very much like a basketball coach saying one thing to that player and then send him in. That player goes in with one thing on his head, on his mind, of what he's going to do. He's not just the player sitting on the bench anymore. Now he's part of the game, and he has to live up to that expectation.
So the Travis International Film Institute, TIFA, sounds so nice.
TIFA. You say TIFA. Nobody said it like that. I always say TiFi.
Oh, I'm saying it wrong then, maybe? Yeah.
No. So you can say it either way. As long as you say it. I bless you for saying it.
But when someone goes there,
what
besides this particular specific area, what else can they gather?
Oh, they can gather a lot. First of all, the interrogation process, which we're talking about now, is just a part of a larger umbrella, which is called the Travis technique. Mm-hmm. So this is just one technique of working with actors. It's a big one and it's a powerful one, but they can learn techniques about staging. They can learn techniques about casting. There's a series of, I think, over 30 interviews on that website, which you can watch for free.
I've gone through it. I mean, I've gone through it, just the research and just the casting. I don't want to go on casting now, maybe another time, but that's something that fascinates me because of the audition process.
Right.
I read a lot of biographies of actors, and they all not bomb, but they all go through all this rejection.
That's a be a great topic for another whole podcast.
Right. Yeah,
because
I mean, that's where it starts.
That's where it starts, and that's where, because you sort of said this, sort of, you know, some directors really, a lot of directors don't know how to work with actors, and a lot of directors are fearful of actors. They're afraid of them, and especially if they are dealing with well-known actors or highly skilled actors. And you got to realize many of the actors you're working with have been in more films than you've made. So they have more experience on the set and all of that. And as one director said to an actor, he says, "I'm so envious of you." And the actor said, "Why?" He says, "Well, because you're in the best film school in the world. What you learn every day on the set as you're working is enormous." So in the casting process, you will see quickly how skilled the director is at working, not just with actors, but with people and getting them to give their best. And that's when the relationship starts, right at the casting process. And you may cast that actor, and it may be, 2 or 3 months shoot or something, whatever it is. But that's the beginning of that relationship. And it's a crucial beginning. And the way the casting process is set up, I really don't like. That's why I've changed it when I do it. But
are you incorporating the technique, so to speak, for the casting? In other words, interrogation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, to get that out of the way and say, you know, hey, this is
not to get it out of the way. It's really saying, when an actor reads, and right after the reading, I start interrogating the character, like Ted Bundy. Let's say it is Ted Bundy again, and I address the actor as Ted. You know, when's the last time you killed someone? That was great, wasn't it? And he says, "What? I mean, come on, wasn't that? Didn't you tell yourself that was the best killing you'd ever done? I mean, you know, the way she screamed, you know." And if you watch it, now you're watching an actor, and you see how easily, quickly, and without resistance will he drop into that character. If he resists it a lot, it's not going to work. If he goes for it to the point that he stuns you and surprises you, this is the guy, maybe the guy you want. That's where it starts. But besides, as you said, just trying out the technique there, it's more than that. I'm also telling that actor in a very subtle but not so subtle way, this is how I work, and this is how we're going to work. So I'm really testing them to see, can you work with me? Can I work with you? And during the last big casting session I had, which was casting 11 characters in a play, there was one actor who was just stunning and really surprised me, really surprised. It was not an actor I knew before. But he told me later that in terms of building and working on his character, he discovered the character during the audition. He says, that's when I found him. That's when I found all the work I'd done before that was okay, but that's when I found the character. And there were things that I discovered there that I held on to all the way through. So I go, great. So actually the casting process is the beginning of rehearsing with the actor and just seeing how it's going to work. Now, the people who get confused sometimes are the producers and the writers, but you have to explain to them what's going on. But they get it pretty quickly.
Who's the most powerful person in the casting process? In other words, the actor comes in, they're doing their audition, and there's people watching the director, etc. Who's the one that's at the top of that? I want or don't want director.
Ideally, it should be the director. Sadly, many times it's the producer. Many times it's the producer. I mean, there are stories and stories and stories. I hate to bring up this name of Harvey Weinstein refusing to cast a very skilled actress there because he wanted this other actress who he wanted to sleep with to be in the movie. And that was his so many times there are powerful producers who will make or break careers, but will tell you, no, this is the person you're going to cast. In fact, a good friend of mine, one of my students, had a really great script. The film didn't turn out well. But it was done by the Weinstein Company, and Harvey, and he had the perfect lead for it. It's a very tricky murder mystery, and he had a great actor for the lead. Daniel, the director, did, and Harvey said, no, not him. and said, "You got to use this guy." And the guy that Harvey wanted him to use was so wrong for the part. And I saw the film, and it just, I saw the actor was doing the best he could, but struggling with the complexities of that character. Couldn't get it. Even with interrogation, he just couldn't get there. And Daniel knew it from the moment they started. He said, I knew it. I knew this. And so the film didn't work.
No.
It's sad. But ideally, it's the director. And ideally, it's the director, the writer, and the producer all agree. They go, yep. If you're all in agreement, then now we're in good shape.
Right. So let's step off the subject a little bit and spin the wheel of segments. You better take a drink. Are you ready for the wheel of segments?
Absolutely not.
It's going to be, it will not be Name That Actor. It could be something.
Willis, I mean, I failed so miserably last time.
No, you did well. Let's see what the wheel comes up
You're
with.
just saying that to make me feel good. Okay, go ahead.
There we go. Let me spin it. You can't see it.
I can't see it. I know this is the invisible wheel.
Oh, and it lands on, this is easy. Dead or alive.
Dead or alive.
This is very simple. I'm going to give you
this is
name.
good. There's only two options. This is good.
That's right. It's a 50-50. I'm going to give you two names. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you one name.
That's
celebrity.
good.
Celebrity, of course. Tell me if they're dead or alive.
Okay.
Now, one correct answer gets you another amazing Papamutes t-shirt.
I get an amazing Papamutes t-shirt?
Yes. I think that's two.
I was never offered that before.
No, you did that the first time.
Is this a new thing you have?
No. The first episode, all you needed was one correct answer, and you got one correct answer. So.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's see how you do. Dead or alive? I'll start off with an easy one. Tina Turner.
She's dead.
She is dead. Recently.
So I just won a t-shirt?
There you go. Give me your size. And
we should stop right there.
Ike Turner, the guy who found out, found her, so to speak, and married her.
Yeah, and groomed her, and Ike and Tina Turner. I believe he is dead.
That's two in a row. He is dead, from 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Actor Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman, I believe, is dead.
Poor Gene. He's alive.
Really?
93.
Wow, bless his heart.
Yeah. Actress Joanne Woodward.
She's dead.
She's alive.
No. Really?
93.
Wow. She and Gene should get together.
Unless the internet's I research as best I can.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I was shocked on that one. She's struggling though, with age. So no,
it's so interesting because we both know Paul Newman has died, so we just and we haven't heard from Joanne Woodward, so we just assume.
Yeah, she's ill, to say the least.
Okay.
All right, actor Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas.
Spartacus.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
He is dead, 2020. Actor Robert Duvall.
He's alive.
He is. 92.
Mm-hmm.
Director Francis Ford Coppola.
He's alive.
84. Singer Willie Nelson.
He's alive.
Oh, you knew that one right off the bat. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, well, 90. I just read an article about him, so that was good.
Singer Aretha Franklin.
When they've made a movie about someone, you sometimes assume that they're gone. So I'm going to assume she's dead.
Dead. 2018. This guy did a lot. Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks. Oh, he has done a lot. I believe he's still alive.
He is. 96.
96. Wow.
Yeah.
And he has that routine of playing the oldest man in the world, and he's getting this.
Some of his movies are just. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, just great stuff. All right, last one. Dick Van Dyke.
Hmm. I'm assuming he's still alive.
He is alive, 96.
Wow.
For the record, it's July 6, 2023, in case anybody hears this later and somebody kills off in the next week. don't contact me, okay? This is just a fun thing.
Or me. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But no, you did well. I need your
survived.
t-shirt size.
I need a large t-shirt, and I will wear it proudly. Does it have your logo, like that logo we see on the screen? Is that what it has on it?
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, I got some new ones coming in. I'll get it to you.
Okay.
Might take a while to get all the way to Hawaii.
It might. Yes, you might have to rent a boat and paddle all the way over here.
I think I asked this before we close out. What's going on? What's upcoming for you? I mean, we're in the middle of summer, but what's happening?
What's
Mark.W.Travis.
Travis? What's upcoming for you? Well, since moving to Hawaii, or since a lot of things in COVID, there's a lot of discussion we could do about that. Prior to all of that, I was doing a lot of traveling around the world. My wife and I would travel to Europe and Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and all that, teaching these techniques. I mean, that's basically what I would be hired to by film schools and film organizations. But then when COVID hit, all of that stopped. There were 4 countries we were about to go to, and we couldn't go. So during COVID, I had to sort of regroup my thinking and redesign what I was doing and figure out how to teach everything I'm teaching online, which I did. I spent 2 or 3 years doing that. And now I continue to do that. And that made it possible to move to Hawaii. Because basically right now, I mean, I'm doing a lot of workshops and I'm working with 9 different directors right now on projects, consulting on projects, but they're all over the world, which is great. Within an hour after this is done, I'll be talking to somebody in Florida. Then after that, I'm talking to somebody in New Zealand. And it's great because I can be sitting right here and focusing on them. And the big focus I'm doing now, Papamutes, I've done a lot. If you go on TiFi, TiFi.us. By the way, anybody who goes there, if you want to write to me, there's a contact thing. You can write to me right from the website. It's simple. What was I going to say? Oh, on TiFi, there are a lot of the classes that I have done that have been archived that are streaming. You can stream a lot of the courses I've done. There are courses on the interrogation process and staging and a lot of other things. But now my focus is on individuals, one-on-one consulting, because then we're working on a specific project. I'm working with one person on one project, and that'll sometimes go on for months. And the consulting all the way from the script through the preparation process, through the casting, rehearsal process. And it's interesting, with this one project, I sit in on their rehearsals, but they're in Los Angeles and they're in South Carolina. They're in 2 locations, but it's all done through Zoom. So I'm going to sit there, I can watch the rehearsal. I don't have to go, nobody has to go anywhere. It's the great thing, and it works. So that's the focus I'm doing now. And the larger scope focus, which I may have mentioned to you before, is that I'm archiving all of this work, including podcasts like this one. So, and I have one member of my team who's a genius at this, putting together this whole archiving system so that all of this information is available to everybody all the time.
Great.
But again, I want to say to your listeners,
sure.
I'm going to mention TiFi, Travis International Film Institute, again, and the website is TiFi.us, not .com, .us. Just go there, and there's a lot of information there. If you want to get in touch with me, you can write in touch with me right through the website. There's a contact sheet. Just send it off to me and send me an email, and I'll talk to you. And what I'm going to offer to the listeners of this podcast only, not to the general world, because that would be crazy. If you're really serious about pursuing any role in filmmaking, directing, writing, and acting, especially those 3, but especially the directing, if you really are serious about pursuing that, and you have listened to this podcast, and you can tell me that you listened to this podcast, you will get one free half-hour consultation with me on whatever you want. Any project of your dreams we can talk about. All you have to do is write to me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds like a deal.
That's a good deal. No
All right, Mark.
problem.
I
Okay.
really, really appreciate it. It's been a blast.
Great. It was great seeing you again. We'll
Yes,
talk
you too,
soon.
buddy. Take care,
Okay.
pal.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.